Hey everybody, we are back, the Hurricane HQ, for our official 6 p.m. tropical update for August 21st, 2020. And to the left, you can see today's latest forecast cone as of 5 p.m. Advisory. And as you can see, we have tropical storm warnings issued all the way up to the very northwest part of Haiti and the entire northern coast of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, all under a tropical storm warning, along with parts of the Bahamas, which are under a tropical storm watch. Puerto Rico, you are still under that warning, and definitely this system is approaching and definitely bringing tropical storm force winds in the area. And today's comment of the day is again ours. I just would like to tell everybody that our website is now optimized for smartphones. I'll leave the link in the description for you guys to check that out. Also, I would like to just mention that this is our, basically just the channel's exact 1 month later. We have started the channel exactly 1 month after today, so it's officially 1 month old. And for everybody who's still here from the very first week, thank you, and let's get started. And here is the Hurricane HQ latest setup. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. And yesterday I actually built this. This is a slight improvement. Now I have a second display and everything's all laid out, and it's easier for me to make these videos and hopefully make them slightly more accurate for you guys. So now finally let's get into the video. So here's the current Atlantic Basin image as of 6 p.m. And as you can see, we have Tropical Storm Laura, I believe. Over here is Tropical Depression 14. And over here is our area to watch, which only has a 30% chance of developing in the next 5 days. Here's our average forecast tracks, and these tropical waves, they come west of Africa, and they move either north, either take this track, or this track. And Tropical Depression 14 took this track as moving into the Gulf, while Tropical Storm Laura is taking this kind of path, this general direction, and is going to most likely make landfall in Louisiana. We'll get more into that in the video, and here is our Tropical Storm Laura, and right now, here's our official NOAA forecasts, National Hurricane Center, and we have the latest cone, which I showed you. And as you can see, we're going to see slightly stronger of a hurricane. Although, I'm looking at a direct hit for Louisiana. Possibly even for New Orleans. Yes, New Orleans. I know Katrina was not good. Even though that was a major hurricane, this will most likely bring a lot of storm surge. Possibly up to 6 feet. I'm not totally sure yet. So this is definitely something to watch over the next few days. It's most likely going to, by here, be around 75 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts up around, I would say, 85 miles per hour. And once it heads over here, I would say up to 6 feet of storm surge. That's just my prediction. That could be wrong. That's probably most likely. And again, we have these tropical storm warnings in the blue areas, and over here we have our tropical storm watches for the very south Bahamas. And let's just take a look at our arrival times of winds for the system. And as you can see, this is for tropical storm force winds, and most likely we're going to see these tropical storm force winds reach Louisiana by Tuesday 8 p.m. next week. Although the earliest reasonable is Tuesday 8 a.m. So possibly you get those winds by 8 a.m. And Florida probably around Monday 8 a.m. So Florida, you are still going to be in with these tropical storm force winds, and especially Louisiana, possibly even hurricane force as it nears. And I was actually looking at the data earlier and some of the more useful maps, basically, and some of them are even showing up to Category 3 hurricane, which is officially major, and that would mark the first Atlantic Category 3 since last hurricane season, or even the first major hurricane. We've had a Cat 1, so we've had hurricanes, just not anything over Cat 2 yet. And right now we are currently in the peak of hurricane season. And now let's take a look at, I would like to take a look at the wind speed probabilities and, not so sure what's going on here. Alright, so this is for the next 120 hours or 5 days. And we're seeing over here, we're seeing enhanced amounts up to 90% chance. They do decrease, although they're going to be increasing over here as our other systems in this area, and they're actually kind of intersecting here. So if they did intersect, that would actually, not much would happen. Most likely they would just cancel each other out over lands, possibly. If they did over water, either they would weaken themselves, or they may even, one of them may get stronger if one's stronger. It really does depend, although I might actually make a video on that. You guys can comment below if you think I should make an entire video on that, explaining that. And now let's just take a look at our NOAA forecast for Tropical Depression 14. And this one hasn't changed as much, although you could see now that it's most likely going to hit as a tropical storm, and most likely going to affect all the way into Texas as a tropical depression. They're not really going to really affect each other, most likely, although still definitely something to watch. Possibly enhanced risk around here because of these two systems around the same exact time. And actually we have a tropical storm warning, which I understand over here for these parts of Mexico, and even a hurricane watch. They're saying that the possibility for hurricane force winds are there, and possibly hurricane force winds could arise in this area. So something definitely to watch. And those tropical storm force wind bands are currently not exactly out yet. It's currently still a tropical depression, so no tropical storm force winds. Possibly tropical storm force gusts are possible. And here's our arrival times of tropical storm force winds, and you can see Louisiana, you're definitely going to get a lot of wind from both of these systems. So tropical storm force is almost a definite for this area, and possibly even hurricane force into the next few days. Let's actually take a look at the hurricane force wind speed probabilities, and they're quite low for now, but this most likely will increase as the storms get closer and more data gets available. 50 knot wind speeds here, a little bit higher chances, up to 30% chance, although again these will most likely change. Now I'd like to show everybody the current windy forecasts for these systems, and right here it doesn't look like too much, although we could definitely see an eye around here of decreased wind and definitely that circulation that we're looking for. We can see right now, not exactly tropical storm yet, although we're getting there. Like just about 7 p.m., just about an hour, we'll be seeing those tropical storm force winds. So I believe it still is a tropical storm, although these forecasts can definitely vary. And the windy forecast is showing it actually not strengthening as much as some models do. The two systems will most likely be in the Gulf at the exact same time, although one is most likely going to make landfall before the other. So still something definitely to watch, and New Orleans, you're actually going to be in possibly a direct hit from the system. And now I would like to just show everybody one more thing. I would like to show everybody the Eastern Pacific. I've totally ignored that. We still have a tropical threat for California. Right now, it's in the Eastern Pacific. Right now, it's only post-tropical cyclone Genevieve. Although we have another area has a high chance of developing in the next 5 days, and another area that only has a 0% chance of developing, 30% in the next 5 days. And Genevieve, what we're all here to see. The cone doesn't exactly show much. It mostly just keeps it a tropical depression for the rest of its life, although it does slightly turn more this way. And we'll take a look at the spaghetti models in just a few minutes. Or how about now? So first I want to show everybody Tropical Storm Laura. Right now, here are the spaghetti models, and right here you can see most of these models show it heading for direct hit in Louisiana, possibly Alabama, and only one shows it actually hitting Florida, or even northern Florida area. Along with the GFS, more of it shows it staying more westward, really affecting western Louisiana and the very eastern Texas area, possibly as a strong system. I would say max is Cat 3 for this system. Canadian model is still kind of a mess, although most of them show it either heading up the east coast through Florida or actually a similar track of what all the other models are showing. And the intensity guidance right now is actually showing most of them actually getting to Category 1 for Laura. It's almost a guarantee it will stay tropical storm for a while, although a lot of them do show it hitting Cat 1 and even Category 3. So definitely something to watch. Now let's head right over to Tropical Depression 14. And these models are a little bit strange, but right now we're mostly going to see them head into Texas, possibly into Louisiana. And this is the European model. The GFS is showing them mostly stay quite weak, although some of them hit Louisiana, some hit Texas. It really does depend. And as of the Canadian model, I don't think too much of it. A lot of these show it going everywhere, so the Canadian access that saying that the Florida Panhandle is not even out of the risk area yet. Neither is Louisiana, so definitely something to watch. And our area here, sorry about that, our intensity guidance model is showing them all increased to a tropical storm mostly. Some of them to a Cat 1, although I think it's a little bit less likely for it to form to a Cat 1 or even make landfall with a Cat 1. I think a tropical storm is reasonable for landfall. And here's our infrared plus image, if it will load. It's been having some trouble for the last few days. Well, all I'm saying is this system has the potential of being major. We'll just wait for this to load, and I think it does have the potential. The Gulf has a lot of warm waters for it to strengthen it. It's a lot to offer. There's not much wind shear. The only thing really stopping it is its speed. If it was going a bit slower, it could possibly develop faster or develop a little bit stronger. Although, okay, now it's working. So as you can see, you can't see too much of an eye yet. Although, you can see it's slightly getting more organized. It looks like this is a potential eye over here forming. So we could definitely see a little bit of a formation of an eye. And with the Laura, on the other hand, this will work. One second. I guess we just have to wait for it to load. Right. This is not really gonna work. But you can see an eye starting to build up over here. Right here, you can see an. This is actually becoming annoying. I actually might complain to like Tropical Tidbits because this has actually been happening like every video. And it's not even Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi is perfect right now. Yeah, it's like full bars and Wi-Fi, so that can't be the problem. I'm not totally sure. Alright, so looks like it's mostly loaded here. You can see a little bit of an eye, although it's more defined than the last one, and that's why they're considering it tropical storm. It also does have that tropical storm force winds as it does approach Puerto Rico. And we'll take a look at some more forecast models right now for Laura. Let's see, hurricane models. Let's go for the GFS and Laura. And here it is right now at 1,008 millibars. And it's slowly gaining strength. It's actually supposed to weaken slightly to more like 1,009 millibars. Although, once it passes there, it's slowly going to start to weaken more. Strengthen more. And most of these models do show it getting possibly. I'm not totally sure what just happens. Well, the GFS actually shows it hitting Texas at 1,003 millibars. And other models do show it get below 1,000. Let's try this model for Laura. And, let's take a look at it now. Right now, you could see it's around 1,011 millibars of pressure. And it shows a steady decline in pressure after a slight increase. And you can see it's moving along. It looks like this is the Dominican Republic over here. And possibly some major impacts there. Although over here we see this rapid weakening in pressure as it starts to pass over Cuba. You can see now it's 985 millibars. And you can see it get to all the way down to 988 millibars. Then 953 millibars. 948 millibars, 934, 929, all the way down to 924 as like the lowest pressure. And this actually does show a landfall, most likely, on Louisiana at just about 930 millibars in pressure. And that is possibly a tropical or a hurricane. Most likely category 2 or 3. That's what this model is showing. You take a look at this data here. Well, this is actually... Well, you can see it definitely has potential to be major in that area. How are we doing on time? 18 minutes? Alright. I'll show one more model. I would like to show the CMC for Laura. So let's start off here. It actually shows it starting to get a bit more traction. Although it doesn't show it getting that strong when it hits Louisiana. Possibly 993 millibars, which is still quite strong. Although mostly sees weakening as it actually heads to upstate New York. And possibly affecting the Northeast in some way. I'm not really sure where this is now. Looks like Canada, possibly some enhanced rainfall and wind gusts, although I wouldn't expect too much once it reaches 1,000 millibars again. So most likely has potential from coastal impacts. It definitely does. And this season has been quite interesting because it's like these hurricanes have been defining like almost all the odds here. They've been surviving, of course getting quite weak, but surviving like all dry air and a lot of wind shear. Alright, and now I would like to show you guys one more thing. Oops. I'd like to show one more thing on Windy that I actually figured out. I was actually trying to learn new features on Windy, actually, and I discovered something actually called... well, what they have is they have something called webcams, and it lets you view webcams in the area. So I think we should try that out. I was actually reading this on the Windy site. I was playing around with the features and seeing. So let's just zoom in, and let's see if we can see any enhanced waves. So you definitely can see slight increase in the waves. Although you could definitely see these clouds from this system. Let's see if there's any other. Let's try this webcam. Well, I guess this is not the best place to try this. Although I would like to try that out in future videos. I was reading that off. I was actually playing around, and I also found that on the Windy site and all the features. So I think that's quite interesting. We might be able to use that in future videos. And I'd like to show everybody one more thing. Actually, would like to show one reason why these storms might not be doing that well. I actually discovered there is wind shear. Right now there's wind shear. It's not supposed to be as high, but right now we have some major wind shear around here. And this might impact Trouble Depression 14. Although I don't think it's too risky. It might not be as the wind shear might not be as strong when it passes through. I'm not totally sure. That might be slowing down this development. And right here is our Salford-Simpson's wind scale for hurricanes. And if you're wondering, Category 3 is 111 to 129 miles per hour. So definitely possible with some of these storms. And I guess I'm going to end this video here. I would like to say that I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but we now have a current channel, not only on YouTube, but on Vimeo. It's the same exact video, it's just I want to upload to Vimeo so more people can learn about these hurricanes and storms threatening not only the U.S., but anywhere along the eastern seaboard and anywhere in the Atlantic. So I did spread it out there to Vimeo. And if you guys have any questions, you can leave in the live chat and I can answer them now. And while we're waiting for that, we can take a look at the NOAA forecast one more time. And this area here, disturbance 1 in the eastern Pacific, actually has a 70% chance of developing in the next 5 days, which is quite high. There's not much things on it yet, although it does have a 70% chance, and I guess it's definitely something to watch as it is moving towards Mexico. And it looks like it's moving in this general direction. So possibly some impacts on Mexico. Same with this area. I'm not totally sure where this is moving. Although it has a quite low chance. Possibly some enhanced rainfall and winds from that system. Although Gingivive, I don't think too much about. Oh yes, one more thing. I would like to show everybody the current for SPA models for post-tropical cyclone Gingivive, And the European model is actually showing most of these models, or most of the spewing models go right into California. So that is probably likely where it's going to head. Although I don't expect too many impacts, not even a post-tropical cyclone maybe. Possibly just some enhanced rainfall. Maybe wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour, or sustained winds. Possibly tropical storm force gusts. Although, even the GFS shows it being quite weak as it approaches California. Nothing above or under 1,000 millibars. Canadian model shows it mostly off to the, I would say, west of Baja California. And in sensitivity guidance, most of these just show it going right back down. Some of them, or all of them, actually do show it strengthening, possibly some warmer waters. Actually, let's take a look and see if there's any warmer waters real quick. Well, you guys leave your comments and sea surface temperatures. And I don't see any warmer water, although possibly it could be moving. Depends what models it follow. And right now you can see it, most likely, if it is going to get any stronger, it's most likely going to move out to the west area of this area. And there's warmer waters and possibly an impact to Hawaii, although I think it's kind of unlikely. And I guess I'll end the video here if no one has any other questions. And yep, I guess I'll end the video here. And make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss the next live update. And I'll see you in the next one.